Hello and welcome to another Wednesday webinar series with Grand Canyon University's Canyon Professional Development. We are here today with the Arizona Burn Foundation, a very important topic for educators around the state of Arizona and around the nation. We're going to talk today specifically about pediatric burn prevention. And we have a special guest, Krystin Bridges, who has a lot of educational experience, and we'll talk about her experience and what she offers through the Arizona Burn Foundation. But I want to start by setting the stage for our learning and really focusing on this quote. Burns and fires are the fifth most common cause of accidental death in children. Nearly 75% of all scalding burns in children are preventable. This quote from Johns Hopkins Medicine really tells us as educators our role in influencing children's behaviors so that we can prevent pediatric burns. Now, Krystin, tell us a little bit about who you are, your education experience, and what we're in for today as far as what you're here to share.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for welcoming me. I'm excited to be here. My name is Krystin Bridges. I am the programs director at the Arizona Burn Foundation. A little bit about my history. I was a elementary school teacher in the Mesa Public School Districts. From 2012 to 2018, I started off in kindergarten and I taught pretty much every grade all the way up to sixth. So I went around the loop and back. And in 2018, I decided that I wanted to transition out of formal teaching. And I ended up at a different local nonprofit, St. Mary's Food Bank. I stayed there for about a year and then landed at the Arizona Burn Foundation. And what's really great about my role here at the foundation is that I am still able to utilize my teaching certificate and my teaching experience and knowledge. And I get to go into classrooms throughout the state of Arizona to not just teach, educational content, but to teach life-saving content. So we at the Burn Foundation, if you go to the next slide, our mission is to improve the quality of life for burn survivors and their families while promoting burn prevention education in the state of Arizona. So we've got two parts to our mission. The first part is if anyone throughout the state of Arizona gets burned significantly enough to be entered into a hospital, we immediately reach out to them and their families to see how we can help. A burn is a very, very traumatic injury, and it is also a lifelong injury. And so we reach out and we can help financially, emotionally, therapeutically, from the time that they are burned for really the rest of their lives, them and their families. And then where I come in as a teacher is to promote burn prevention education. So to teach families and children and parents and teachers how not to get burned so that we never have to see you in the hospital.
You know what is so fascinating to me is you just said that. And teachers, right? If we are in the classroom teaching students about what happens when, then we could prevent a lifelong injury. And I think the trauma that goes along with being burned is something that we don't often think about. I mean, sometimes it's hard to even see. Excited about what you're going to tell us today because I think what is exciting for teachers and educators in Arizona and beyond is the amount of material that's out there for teachers to take advantage of. Even if you don't know, you've got some really great materials for us. So, Krystin, tell us what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. So I have four objectives today. The first will be to understand why teaching your students or even your family, why teaching them how to prevent burns is really, really important. The second is to familiarize yourself with our Milo and Moxie program. The third is to understand how you can utilize pre-made lesson plans to teach the standards, Arizona state standards, utilizing Milo and Moxie in your classroom. And then the fourth is to be, if you choose and if you'd like, to adopt the program and utilize it in your own classroom.
Fantastic. Well, looking forward to it. Oh boy, every time I see a young child close to a stove, I just, but as a parent, I know this happens. Tell us a little bit about nationally what burn prevention education is about.
Absolutely. So at the beginning, we talked about how they are the fifth most common accidental cause of death in children. So they, like I said, they are happening way more often than you might think or you might know. So I mean, some statistics that you can read on your own, but these burns are happening every single day and really every single minute. And what's scary to me is that approximately 2 children die every day from burn injuries. So remember when we said that 75% of pediatric burns are preventable? Let's work together to prevent these burns and to prevent these childhood deaths. What's unfortunate is if a child is burned, it is significantly worse than if an adult is burned. And that's because the thermal layer of their skin is it's a lot more, it's less deep, I guess you can say, it's shallower. And so they're going to be burned faster and hotter than an adult. Our skin somewhat protects us a bit more than children and elderly. So they're gonna get burned faster and at a lower temperature. If we transition to talk about Arizona specifically, we work very closely at the foundation with the burn center at Valleywise. And since 2015, we've seen 575 pediatric admits
That's too
into the burn
many.
center.
That's
Yes, so
too
almost
many.
600, right? And that does not include adults. That is only pediatrics. That's only kids that are getting sent to the burn center for a burn significant enough for them to be hospitalized. So that doesn't count, the kids that barely touch a curling iron or that get a little too close to the oven and they have minimal burns that can be treated at home. Those are kids that get burned bad enough to be sent to the hospital. Almost 600, too many.
Wow. Wow,
So
that's
we got to prevent these, right?
absolutely. So how do we prevent them?
Okay, so first, before I want to talk about that, I want to, and we've already touched on this a little bit. I want to talk about how burns are, in my opinion, one of the worst injuries that anyone can ever be exposed to. They are very traumatic and they are lifelong. They last really through your whole lives, and there's a whole long list that you can read, but they lead to things such as scarring. They inhibit your thermoregulation, which means that you are not able to maintain and regulate your own body temperature. Obviously, they lead to pain, and it's lifelong pain. They have a significant impact on body image, psychosocial well-being, and this list doesn't even include the PTSD that is associated with a burn, all the financial struggles that are associated with a burn, because if someone is burned as a child, most likely they will be having surgeries for the rest of their lives.
Oh,
The contractures, which is on this list, means that your skin tightens up and is not able to stretch itself. So you will most likely have skin stretching surgeries for the majority of your life. I mean, hundreds, if not, more than that. And that's expensive. So these are all really, really important reasons on why we should prevent burns at all ages, but really, really, really for our young kiddos.
boy, and it really speaks to that quote that we talked about in the beginning.
Yes, I want to reiterate that the majority of childhood burns are preventable. If we are taking easy steps to teach children how, some easy strategies in the home, then we can prevent a majority of those childhood burns.
Well, I know that you are going to bring us some easy steps, and I just think this Milo and Moxie program is absolutely adorable. So I'm looking forward to hearing about it and how I can use it in my classroom if I were in the elementary school grades.
Yes, so I could talk about this program all day. I love it. I think it is an incredible resource for anyone who lives in the state of Arizona, especially teachers. I mean, teachers spend more time with kids than parents do, right? It's it's every day from, let's say, 8 to 4, Monday through Friday. That's a lot of time that you have with those kids. So take that opportunity and teach them something that could really save their life, right? So What we have is this Milo and Moxie educational curriculum. It is a rhyming storybook for kids preschool all the way up to 5th grade. And it has these two cute little characters, Milo the dog and Moxie the hummingbird. Kids love them. They go through every room of a typical house or apartment, and they teach kids and parents some realistic and easy strategies in each room to prevent burns, scalds, and fires. So I'll give you a quick example. In the bathroom, it talks about curling irons, and it talks about water temperature in the shower or in the bath. So it's rhyming, kids love it, they get super into it, they get very invested, it's fun to listen to, it's colorful. And then it also has those realistic strategies that kids can learn at school and then immediately that night implement at home. So some topics are the oven safety zone, chemical safety like bleach, which also will give you a burn, smoke alarms, home escape plans. We talk about matches and lighters. We live in Arizona, so we have to talk about sun safety because a lot of people do get burned from pavement and concrete outside. So that's definitely something that we have to talk about. And then, like I said, I've got an example right here. It's bright, it's colorful. In the back, we've got some leveled activity pages for the kids. This is our younger preschool through 2nd grade book, so it's mostly coloring. And then we've got some activity pages and then a bilingual parent guide. And this, I think, is the money right here. Kids take this home, they share it with their parents. Their parents can implement these strategies that night, right away.
That is fantastic. So it's not just you're talking about it at school and you're, direct instruction. This is about classroom books with posters and stickers. There's even a smartphone app. I think that is the coolest thing ever. I went to your website and looked at that app and I downloaded it because it's fun. And that's what I think kids, especially today, like, hey, they're plugged in, let them be learning something that's going to perhaps save their life one day. So
yeah, absolutely.
fantastic.
It's a fully comprehensive program, and there's a lot of different ways to teach it. There's a lot of different materials and a lot of different resources. Here's the big teacher book. It's huge. It's got some flaps for some games that go along with it. We've got flashcards. We've got it all. So what's I think the best part of this program, and what is a very easy sell, is that it is provided to anyone who lives in the state of Arizona at absolutely no charge to you. We at the foundation are blessed with grants and with donors who help supply these materials to you guys at no charge. So fire departments, elementary schools, community centers, doctors' offices, libraries, parents, anyone in the state of Arizona can get these materials at absolutely no charge. Shipping is also included or is also covered, so you will not pay 1 cent for these amazing materials.
Wow. So all of this in real time so you can teach in person, either at your home, in your classroom. I love it. The doctor's office. That's a great thing to do while you're sitting at the doctor's office with your child, really talking about burn prevention. And I see also that you have these different learning models. So if I'm a 3rd grade teacher, I can have, I can receive all of that material free of charge, as you just talked about. There's resources for large group learning and then that one-on-one learning. And my thought is, as a teacher, I'd love to put the information in, the weekly newsletter in the backpacks of each student to be able to have something for enrichment, but also, especially if you're teaching those underrepresented kiddos where parents are oftentimes not at home. I mean, we're here at Grand Canyon University on 33rd Avenue and Camelback, and many of our parents in our community are working all the time. So they have the latchkey student. Hey, I was one myself. So what a great idea to have some, materials in your home, just to reiterate that. So this is fantastic. So as a teacher and as a parent, I think it's really, really great. Tell us a little bit also about how I get the free stuff online.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you go to our website, there's a whole bunch of resources, but one really particularly great resource for teachers are our lesson plans. We've got pre-made lesson plans from kindergarten all the way to 5th grade that don't just teach burn prevention and fire safety, they teach Arizona state standards. So I was a teacher and I know I don't have time in the day or in the year to teach things that are not aligned to my standards. And so what we did is we went into each grade. And for example, third grade, one of the big third grade standards is main idea, right? You have to teach main idea. It's gonna be on the test. You have to teach. I mean, nobody says they teach to the test, but that's honestly what we have to do at this point. And so what we did is we pulled out Arizona state standards, and you're going to teach the standard. You're going to teach main idea, but you are going to utilize the Milo and Moxie book as a trade book. So you're going to read through this book and follow the lesson plan. There's objectives. It's really step by step. You're going to teach main idea, but you're going to have the kids be learning burn prevention and fire safety throughout the lesson. So at the end of the lesson, you know, students should be able to, they're going to be able to determine the main idea of a story, but then they're also going to inherently learn these strategies for burn prevention and fire safety. And they're going to go home and they're going to be able to tell their parents, I learned about main idea today, but I also learned that I need to stay 3 feet away from the oven in order to not get burned.
Well, let's be
So
honest, they're probably not going to say main idea before they say, I learned to stay away from the oven. I
yeah,
love
and look, I got this cool sticker and I have the app, you know. So
exactly.
it's just a really easy, I want to say foolproof way of teaching your standards, which you have to teach, but also to teach those students some life-saving strategies that they're going to take home and maybe teach to their younger brother or sister, or teach to their cousin, or teach to their parents, right?
Oh, that's a
um
great idea that you could even challenge them to teach this
yes.
to their younger brothers and sisters because you can give away the material. I mean, as a third grade teacher, I would just order, the
Mhm.
materials for my classroom if I could. Well, we'll talk about that in a minute, but you obviously are sold on the program. You're invested, you love it. Who else? Who else uses it?
Yes, so I cannot do quick math, but as you look over on this slide, there's like almost 200 organizations that utilize the program already. We've got 77 Arizona fire departments, and those are fire departments all across the state. So we've got the big ones: Mesa, Chandler, Phoenix, Peoria, Scottsdale. They all already utilize this program. And then we've got 75 schools stretched across the state that use this, 26 community groups, and then 13 out-of-state organizations that have adopted it as well. So it works. Kids like it, parents like it, firefighters like it. It's just an easy way to just, teach the kids and not have to recreate the wheel.
Absolutely fantastic. So I'm thinking to myself as a third grade teacher, I would be teaching Milo and Moxie series, get them all excited about it. And then as a culminating activity, have the firefighters come in and have, a lesson from them. And they go, I already know Milo and Moxie. And maybe, I mean, that would even make it more exciting, I think, for the kids to know that they know something that the firefighters know. Oh my gosh, this is such a great opportunity. Thank you so much, Krystin, for sharing with us all of this. Not only is it important, but it's also free. So if
Yes.
I want to adopt and utilize the Milo Moxie program and just get some more information about Arizona burn prevention, talk to me about who I talk to and how I do it.
Yes, so it's very easy. You can go onto our website, miloandmoxie.org, click up at the top. It's an order kits little area. Scroll down. You can order as many materials as you want or think that you'll need. Um, I would, if I'm a superintendent that is listening to this webinar right now, I would order it for my entire district. You're going to get it for free, right? You don't have to pay shipping, and you're going to be able to distribute it to thousands of kids. And who knows, it could save a kid's life, right? So go onto the website, you can order it yourself. If you have questions or you want help ordering or you want me to order it for you, my contact information is there as well. I'm happy to just send it your way. And then the Arizona Burn Foundation website is there as well. If you want to learn more about burns, if you want to learn more about the foundation and how we can help, you can visit that website as well.
Wow. Well, not only, and folks, that information will be in our show notes, so don't forget, we will take care of you in that regard. I think it's just wonderful, Kristen, that you are offering your telephone number, your contact information. You are passionate about getting this information out to as many young people, adults as well. And I really appreciate that because I keep going back to that statistic: 75% are preventable. So I'll tell you what, that's one of my takeaways today is that we as educators have every opportunity. We have the ability to get this information into the hands of our children and their parents, and especially those of us who work in districts and with kiddos that are, their parents are working 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. I think it's just incredibly important that we take that role as the teacher who, as you said, Kristen, is with them more often than not, um, to really, get this information to them. So I want to thank you all for joining us today, and thank you to Kristen as well. Remember, our why is to empower, educate, and inspire our community so that they take action to fulfill their purpose and to serve others. Kristen, do you have any final thoughts about preventing burns in the pediatric community?
The last thing that I would say is, let's make this a generational push. If we as teachers teach our students now easy strategies that they can do by themselves or with their family at home, as they grow up, they're going to teach it to their kids, who are going to teach it to their kids. And then in 30 years, instead of burns being the 5th leading cause of accidental death, maybe we can push it to the 12th, right? And we can just completely eliminate unnecessary burns so that we're just not facing these traumatic injuries with our kids. And let's make it a generational push and start teaching them now so that it can become a lifelong habit, and then they can continue to teach as farther down the road.
I love it. Again, Kristen, we are so grateful that you joined us today and to really emphasize how important and how easy it is for us to prevent pediatric burns among our students, our families, in our classrooms, and that we have the obligation, the influence over these students, and quite frankly, the time with them. Thank you so much for your time, your energy, and all of those free resources. We appreciate you very much and the mission of the Arizona Burn Foundation. So folks, please subscribe now for more free PD. All of Kristen's information will be in your show notes. Until next time.